All right, everybody. It is Friday, January 12th. Headed up to Blacksburg here later on today. But super duper excited to do our annual exit interview. This was an easy decision. We are sitting down with Alan Tisdale. Alan Tisdale came to Tech in 2018 from Page High School in Greensboro, North Carolina. 49 games, 306 tackles, 21 and a half tackles for loss, a true leader on and off the field, and a guy who has had a huge impact on our Saturdays and Thursdays at Lane Stadium for just about half a decade. Alan Tisdale,
Yeah,
how you doing, my friend? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing good. I'm blessed. I'm
Yes,
blessed. I
you
can't
are.
complain at all.
Awesome. Awesome. So fun fact for you. Don't know if you know this, but 2019, you were sixth in team tackles. 2020, you were third. 2021, you were fourth. 2022, sixth. Call a spade. NCAA dealt you kind of a hard hand, but still managed to finish sixth. And then in 2023, you finished second. So finished top six every single year you were at Virginia Tech. Quite an accomplishment. But I want to
Yeah.
take it all the way back. I want to take it all the way back.
Okay.
4-star recruit, top 15 player in North Carolina, SEC offers, Notre Dame, Carolina. Why did you choose Virginia Tech?
I mean, why not? Like my family was going there, so I was the last one to commit in Greensboro. So I had Trey Turner, DJ Crossan, Hendon was already there, and then Mook Reynolds. So that's everybody from Greensboro. So that was basically like, what you waiting on? And I'm like, I don't know. So I hit up Coach Foster. I'm like, man, I'm ready to commit. And I committed before I even told my parents.
What was
So
that?
right after I told him, hey, I'm coming to Virginia Tech. I'm tired of this recruitment. That's when I told my parents, like, hey, I know what school I'm going to.
What was that conversation like with Coach Foster?
Uh, I mean, we'd talk every night, damn every night. When I came home from practice, he'd check in on me, say how I'm doing. That's why I really got close to him because he really didn't care about football as much. Like he'd check on me individually. Me and my family. My family loved him to death. Him and Charlie Wiles, so they was both recruiting me.
So I want to talk about the maybe for all of Hokie Nation, it was like the wait. I love this guy. I love this guy moment. And it came in 2019. It was a huge game for Virginia Tech. It was a turnaround moment for Virginia Tech. You're playing at Miami. You're going
Oh
through a
man,
quarterback switch, and it did go viral. You
yeah, they
throw
did.
up on television. But in that game, you were second in tackles. You had a key breakup as well. I don't even think that one was caught on television. They ended the broadcast. They brought the broadcast back. The game was over. Virginia Tech wins. What do you remember from that game? Why were you sick? Did you have a stomach bug? Was it the weather? Kind of walk me through that day for you.
Honestly, it was the weather did play a part of it. Like that's my first time ever playing in Florida, and if you ever go to Florida, it's humid. So, and the night before, man, I told my girlfriend I had some Popeyes. I had Popeyes the night before, and it normally don't bother me because like we don't have a Popeyes here or a wing stop. So when you go to other places, you want to look on DoorDash, you want to order some food
I
the
was
night
about to
before.
say because typically it was the Danielle Bartelstein, come get your spaghetti, come
You know
get
what
your
I'm saying?
potatoes. So you were door
Pancakes.
dashing
I didn't
Popeyes.
want that. No, I didn't want that. Especially like the night before a game. I'm like, no. So that played a part in it. But no, it was really the weather. Like I felt like I was hydrated, but I guess I wasn't hydrated enough.
And that was such a special time, right? You think about all the players from North Carolina. You had Hendon, you had Trey, you had Dax, you had yourself, you had all these young players in North Carolina. There was that North Carolina to Virginia Tech movement. How close were you all as a group when you were at Virginia Tech? Because I have to imagine if you're going to another state to play football, typically, I'm coming from New Jersey. I know it's not as far, it's further than North Carolina, but everybody I met was new. How much of a
Right.
benefit was it to have guys in the locker room from North Carolina that you grew up competing against have on the team as you?
I mean, you can relate to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like I was real close with Dax. I was familiar with Dax. Trey, Hendon. Them folks. And like we had Joe Kane too around that time, and he was like by that Wake Forest area, and like we could all relate. And so I felt we was all comfortable. I was comfortable with everybody in the locker room that I came in with.
So then we're going to flash forward to COVID. And, before we talk about the COVID season, I just want to talk about that 2019 season ends and everybody's fired up about 2020. Everybody's fired up about 2020. If
Yeah.
there was anything that you'd love to see was that 2020 season on a normal note. Can you just talk about that locker room in 2019 before you found out the season was going to be what it was, before you found out everything was going to happen the way it was? How loaded was that team and how connected was that team in 2019?
I mean, we was loaded, but at the same time, we was young. We was real young. But I feel like that didn't play a part in it. Like you said, like it's the connection, the brotherhood we built in that locker room. And I feel like this past season and this like upcoming season, it's like a similarity between like that 2019 and that 2020 season. Well, the beginning of the 2020 season, just to get ready for that season. So I felt like compared to the previous seasons, like the brotherhood is there in that locker room. I felt it this past season. Like I had fun this season. I really had fun this season.
Not to defray from the fun, but you are one of, if not the last member of the team who lived through the insane period of time during your tenure at VT while playing through it. Can you just walk me through what you remember most about that COVID season? Hard moments on and off the field. What did you learn? What were some
Oh, I can
challenges?
tell you. I could tell you. I won't say the hardest moment, but it's a lesson. It's always a lesson. Learn a lesson. But this around the time my girlfriend was pregnant. We just found out, and my son was born
Mm-hmm.
in November 25th. So I can't take my son home. He was born a whole month early. My son was supposed to be born in December. He was born November 25th. And my parents couldn't come. Well, they could come, but they would have to stand outside and look through the window. So, I really didn't have anybody. And I wasn't trying to let anybody come near us because, COVID was going on and I caught COVID twice. So we had our ups and downs, but it worked out. Everything worked out.
And obviously you said everything is a lesson. I wasn't going to bring this up unless you did, but I just want to know, what have you learned through fatherhood? What have you learned through being a father and going through school and playing football? Like that is, I don't want to call it a challenge because it's a blessing at the same time,
Yeah.
but obviously it adds a lot to your plate. So what have you learned and what has that taught you over the course of your career at Virginia Tech?
Fatherhood. I mean, I was looking forward to it. Like you said, I don't look at it as a challenge. It's something that I attack every day. I would look forward to. I'm happy to take my son, to school every morning, knowing that right after I drop him off, I have to go to class. After class, I have to go to practice, and then it's just a schedule. But it's not just me. It's like it's my girlfriend too. Like she plays a major part in this. So like my partner, like I wouldn't be here without my partner. So no, she plays a big impact on that.
So transitioning to September 3rd, 2021, the Virginia Tech Hokies not only beat top 10 ranked North Carolina, they did also beat COVID. Virginia Tech did beat COVID in
Right.
Lane Stadium. It was unbelievable. Just tell me the memories from that game. I get a lot of crap. Got a little emotional at that game. What were some of the emotions that ran through you on that night in September?
Oh man, I just remember like when that clock hit zero, just the fans running like because that year before it's like we couldn't train, that summer session. Like we couldn't train, we couldn't do anything. Everybody was still at home, or if you wanted to come, you could come back to Tech and train like damn near on your own. So I just felt like that year after, like that 2021, like we felt good, we felt better. And then coming into especially like that first game playing Chapel Hill, so we had to get our get back.
So, and then you fast forward, going through the coaching switch. Not an easy time for anyone, but certainly is the hardest on the players. Kind of walk me through your emotions as that unfolded. You find out a coaching change is going to happen. Coach Price takes over. Walk me through kind of the last chapters of that 2021 season, excuse me.
2021 season, I felt like Coach Price did a great job stepping in. I was behind him the whole way. I asked him like, "Hey, like, is this coaching staff that's coming in like, are we good? Are we gonna be okay?" He said, "Yeah, man. Like, trust me." And Coach Price, he don't lie. He a stand up guy. He won't cut corners or anything. He'll tell you the truth.
And meeting Coach Pry, Coach Marv, that whole staff, how did they impact you off Jump Street? So your first time meeting with them. Let's start there. How were you introduced to that staff? I remember when Coach Puente first got there, obviously different circumstances. I remember when Coach Beamer announced that he was retiring. Was there a meeting? How did you all formally get to meet the new staff when they came in?
We met Coach Pry like prior to that bowl game in New York. So he came in just introducing himself. But I was familiar with Coach Pry, like with recruitment wise. So like if I didn't go to Tech, like I wanted him to be my coach. You know what I'm saying? So I knew about Coach Pry. I knew he was a big time defensive coordinator, and I knew about Coach Marv as well. So like I was pumped. I'm like, man, I get to play his defense. So, but I just wanted to feel comfortable around him and build that relationship.
So tell me a little bit about how they impacted you, both as a player and off the field. Those coaches together, how have they impacted you over the last half of your tenure?
Okay, so Coach Marv, I'm close with Coach Marv. So like he's a great guy off the field. Like, I can call him about anything, getting closer to the word, um, about fatherhood, because I'm young and he has two daughters as well. And like if I have any questions about anything, like he's always there. I'm never alone. That's what he always say. I'm never alone. Uh, and then like on the field, like he gonna push you every day. Especially fall camp. Day 10 do not feel like day one. Day one, that's when your body gonna feel the freshest. So he always want the best out of you every day. Um, and then like when it comes to Coach Pry, like man, he's don't get me wrong, like Coach Marv and Coach Pry, but both of them like they're big on family. So they was making sure like I was okay, my family was great, taken care of, things like that, and like man, we always gonna have that relationship. Even when I leave, I'm always gonna call them, check in on them. They're gonna do the same with me.
So moving on to the 2023 season, the season that we just wrapped up. So I was reading an article, and excuse me, I don't have it referenced here, but essentially the article started out, Alan Tisdale never considered not returning for his sixth season at Virginia Tech. It was actually one of the easiest decisions the linebackers made 1 year ago when the Hokie season came to an abrupt conclusion following the UVA game being canceled. So I just want to ask you, what made that such a no-brainer decision? What was going through your brain, and what ultimately led you? Wow, it is Friday. What ultimately
It
led
is. You good?
you? What ultimately led you to making that decision to finish your 6th year here at Virginia Tech?
I felt like I owed, my class because Chamari left, Dax left, Ty. So, I felt like I owed it to him, because we only won 3 games. I'm like, man, we could do way better. Even though, yeah, we have a new coaching staff, but I know we could have done way better. Like we left some things on the table. And so I felt like I owed it to him. And man, it's crazy because like my first year here, I didn't play my first season because I was out with a shoulder injury, but we played at the Military Bowl. And then my last season here, Military Bowl. So I'm like, man, we definitely have to win a bowl game. And I didn't know Tech haven't won a bowl game since 2016. But yeah,
Hadn't won a bowl game since I was in school.
so I just felt like I owed it to them boys. And then to the team, so I had to. It wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard decision at all.
So you've always been kind of the young buck, and this year you served as the OG. You were the old head on the team,
Yeah.
and I kind of look at this season in multiple chapters, and I want to talk about going from chapter 1 to chapter 2. And last year, 2 years ago, Coach Pry's first year, the constant and common theme was that Virginia Tech never quit, ever. Never, never, never. Whether they were down by 21, whether, heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss, Virginia Tech was always battling until the final whistle. And you get to the Marshall game, still don't have much of an identity offensively and defensively. And then the Pittsburgh game comes around, and I was talking to Kyron about this on our last interview. It seems like you all adopted a bully mentality. You went from being essentially the nail to being the hammer.
Right.
Didn't only play better. You guys kind of talked that talk. You got a little chippy. You guys kind of got after it. So I just want to talk about how was that talked about in the locker room and as a team? Because I don't think it was just spur of the moment. I think it was a conscientious effort to change the attitude of this.
Right. And like you said at the beginning, we talked about the locker room. It always starts there. It's the players that's going to lead the team. It's not really the coach. It got to be a player-led team. We had our ups and downs this season. We left some food on the table this season as well. But, that Pittsburgh game is, okay, cool. Let's do what we have to do. We know what we have to do. And then, I'll go up to KD. I'll go up to KD and say, hey, man, this your offense. This my defense. Let's take control. Okay, yep, I can hear you. Hold on.
That's my bad. That's my fault. Okay. Talk to me about the rest of the season. Some other key moments. Were there any other key moments over the season that you think really defined what this team was going to be? You talked about the togetherness. You talked about the culture. You talked about the brotherhood. Were there any defining moments that you think really led to that happening, whether it be on the field, whether it be off of the field?
I say one of them moments, but it was at the end of the season though. But after we lost to NC State, it's man, if we lose to Virginia, we can't go to a bowl game, and people was down on us, saying hey, we gotta play at Virginia, things of that nature. But I don't read the articles or whatever. People coming up to me telling me this and that. You see, I'm barely on social media like that, so I felt like it was one of them games to where we have to put on the show. We have to win this game. I knew we was gonna win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came to the bowl game. I felt like that one played a big part because Tulane was 11-2,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the odds was shoot, we was gonna lose, whatever. I didn't mind that. I'm just playing play by play. I know what my defense can do. I know what my offense can do, and special teams.
What was the craziest? Because we had some crazy weather this year. I mean, we went through all 4 seasons against Wake Forest. We went through a Noah's Ark type situation in Purdue, and you had the downpour at Tulane. What game do you remember being the craziest weather game that you played in this year?
Played in I say Purdue and Tulane.
Yeah,
but at Tulane, it's different. It was pouring, and then it's freezing outside, and then after the game, my clothes still getting soaked walking to the bus. But yeah, I say that too.
How good did it feel though to finish as a champ? We just talked about it. 2016, it's kind of wild. You play an entire season, and now with opt-outs, with transfer portal, with the NFL, with all of this stuff, you can win 10 games, have your whole team sit, and then your team ends with a loss. Your team ends a great season with a loss. Your team ends winning 4 in a row to end the season with a loss. How important was it for your team specifically? I love that Derek Canteen played in this game. Right. I love that everybody played in this football game. How important was the Military Bowl to you guys, to the team, to everybody in that locker room?
To the team, it was man, we have to close the chapter on a W. To be a champion, come out, nobody want to go to a bowl game and it don't say champions on it. I don't want that. I don't even wear my bowl rings at all because we haven't won. So it's what's the point of me wearing it just for the looks and things like that? But for me, I never put myself first. I always put the team first. So especially going into the next season, the following season, it brings confidence. They already have confidence in themselves. They know what they can do. And we left it on a great note.
So that's a great transition to my next question. Overall, the 2023 Virginia Tech team more than doubled their win total from last year. First bowl win since 2016. Ton of talent coming back. Coaching staff is staying put. What is your take, or what is your feeling on the direction and the health of the program as they continue to build this culture that Coach Pry is instilling in Blacksburg?
Man, we got some dogs on the team. And like I said, it took time, you know what I'm saying? We bringing KD in, Jay Lane, Toot, and then, a lot of people don't know this, but Kale never played linebacker before this. So, he's feeling better. I feel like we got the best linebackers in the country. We got J.K., McDonald, Kale, Will Johnson, and then like the D line, the DBs. Like I feel confident. So I felt like we left on a great note, and I'm excited to see what them boys are gonna do next season.
So rolling into rapid fire here. It doesn't need to be very rapid, but these are more kind of fun-spirited questions here. And the first one, it's probably the toughest one. So if you could have dinner with 4 people, dead or alive, who's going to dinner and where are you going to dinner?
And I choose 4 people?
Choose 4 people to bring with you. You also got to tell me who's picking up the tip.
Oh, it could be anybody, any celebrity.
Any celebrity, family member. It could be George Washington if you wanted to be. It could be literally anybody.
Oh man, I feel so bad because I don't know.
Nobody ever does.
I'm a big movie guy, right? So some people probably gonna laugh. Denzel Washington.
It's a great pick. Fantastic.
Denzel.
Talk about a guy who aged well. You didn't really know about his movies 30, 20 years ago. He has gotten better with age as time has gone on.
You know it. Of course I'm bringing my son, my girlfriend, so that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, so that's 3 and all. So one more would be man. Ooh, it's hard. I'm gonna say I don't know about the last one.
You can leave that open. We'll figure it out. It'll be a last moment thing. Where are you going to eat?
Where am I going to eat at? Oh. Somewhere where it's a nice steak.
Somewhere where it's a nice steak. I'm telling you, that's the one thing that Blacksburg is missing. We've been talking about that. We need a steakhouse in Blacksburg.
Yeah, Christiansburg, you like Farmhouse?
Farmhouse is great. I'm talking about in Blacksburg.
In Blacksburg, though?
Yeah, in Blacksburg. And look, look, Bull and Bones has some awesome barbecue. I'm talking about a dedicated steak restaurant.
I agree.
Putting on a white button-up shirt, throwing on some khakis, having a steak dinner. I think we need to bring that to Blacksburg.
Yeah, I agree.
Favorite on and off the field memory at Virginia Tech?
Okay, on the field memory. I'll say this past game. This past game, when we beat Tulane, we won the Military Bowl. That was a great feeling. Off the field, I'll say 2020, November 25th, 12:34 p.m. My son was born.
In Lewis Gale Hospital? Were you right in Blacksburg?
Right in Blacksburg.
There you go. There you go. I got to ask you, because I was wondering if you were going to mention this, but you didn't. Post UVA game, talk to me about how did this on the field photo shoot, sprinklers going off? How did that happen? How did that all come to light?
UVA did that. They planned it out. No, I'm just playing. I mean, I didn't mind it. Shoot, we got the dub. We was going to a bowl game, so it was going to be a better photo anyways.
Yes, but you're all in the locker room. Who's starting the? All right, we're going back outside and we're going to take pictures.
You know who? Coach Fry.
I'll tell you what, our photographer Grant got an awesome shot of you with the sprinklers going off. That was just it had to be such a fun ride home.
Yeah, it was. I always remember that picture. I was right beside the rail.
Loudest game in Lane Stadium you can remember?
Ooh.
If you let me weigh in just for a second.
What you about to say? The Chapel Hill game?
That was loud. That was. I honestly that felt like an out of body experience. I can't really remember basically anything from the game. I really can't. Now,
Right.
fun fact for you. From what I understand, that is the most people that have ever been in Lane Stadium before.
Really?
There were people in the stands without tickets. There was that was the reason they changed the general admission. I mean, it was just like out of control, fun, out of control. I mean, we had back at that game. There was this was when students moved to being over in by the stands that we were in over in section 5, and I had students behind me. And one of the moments I can remember is somebody from like the top threw an uneaten like chicken wing down, and it hit this poor lady in the face like in the third quarter. And she didn't skip a beat. Picked it up, took a picture, and she was yelling on third down. So we love to see that. Don't throw stuff on game day. That's trash. Don't do that.
I love our fans though.
This year, there were a couple of times during the Pittsburgh game on third down, and a couple of times during Syracuse during the third down where it was like deafening.
Yes, and so it's hard, but I say like that Chapel Hill is number one. But this season, like especially me playing, the Mike backer, and you have to make the calls right, left, and stuff like that. In my head, I want to tell the fans like, I'm trying to do like this in my head, but I'm like, nah, like it's gonna give the offensive guys the advantage, man. But I love it though. I love the energy.
It's crazy. I'm wondering if you have any connections with. In this era of players playing, quite frankly, for so long. I mean, Garrett Schrader is a guy you played against forever. Brennan Armstrong is a guy you played against forever. Phil Dracovic is a guy you played against forever. Is there anybody that came in your class that you competed against this year that you had dialogue with or you spoke with? It doesn't have to be a quarterback, but somebody from that class at another school that you have a relationship with.
That's a great question. I'll say like Armstrong, really. When he moved on to NC State, I knew his style. He was a mobile quarterback. He's a great quarterback, but he's real mobile though. The great, he got a tough upper body, so you can't arm tackle him,
right?
Things like that. So
this is another tough one. The 3 most impactful people that you have come across at Virginia Tech. This could be a classmate, player, coach, teacher, mentor.
You know what? I'm about to say this one person, and I want for dinner too. This will answer the first question.
Okay.
Donna Werdelit. She's a professor here. She's been with me. She's helping me out with my business. I got a business going on right now, and she's been helping me every step of the way. But Donna Werdelit.
I can't say enough positive things about just on Ms. Donna real quick. Professor Werdelich, I took her class, and I'm sure you had the same talk too. It's like, hey, football players, sit in the front. Make sure you ask questions. Ask me questions. Even if they're dumb questions, ask me dumb questions. Spark conversation. It's interesting to say this because it seems so kind of corny, but she actually made you excited to go to class.
Yes.
And what I really appreciated was when we started the Sons of Saturday, like she was such an advocate and soundboard and mentor for us when we were trying to figure out what our brand is. She is one of the people that really, really care.
Yes.
So I'm glad you brought her up.
Yeah, I really love that lady. We talk every day, every day. But you said 3 people, correct?
Yes.
So that she'll be my first. I can't. No, I'm sorry, Donna, Mama. I call her Mom, but she'll be my second. I'll say my girlfriend. She been with me since freshman year. We've been together since freshman year. So my girlfriend be my number one.
How'd y'all meet?
How we meet? We literally lived across the street from one another.
In Carolina or here in Blacksburg?
Here in Blacksburg, because she's from Georgia.
Okay.
She's from Georgia, and we lived in Tazewell at the time, and she didn't know where I lived. I knew where she lived like this whole time, because my best friend name is Eric, and his girlfriend at the time was roommates with my girlfriend. And so we'll come over, we just hang out, go out to eat. And then like they didn't know I literally lived across the street until like 2 months later. But no, she been with me ever since. And I say my third person, I say really my third and fourth person. My mom, grandma. Mom and grandma. Yeah.
Who is the funniest teammate on the team?
Whew. Boy. We got some guys. We got Kale, Strode, Fadarius, Dorian.
It's so funny about Jalen Stroman because I'll never forget this. When I lived in Blacksburg, Greg and I were roommates my junior year, and his brother would come over, and Greg would. I don't want to say he made him because he wasn't lazy, but he was what like 13, 14 years old, and Greg would have him doing ladders in our backyard for what must have been like 2 or 3 hours. Like Greg would get back from class. And, Jalen's like, oh, I'm hanging out with my brother. I'm going to check it out. No, you're doing ladders in the backyard. So it has been so cool to watch him grow. And he is a funny, funny dude, man. He is a awesome kid.
Yeah, man. I love him. I'm going to miss this team. I'll miss him.
Who is the ACC foe that you hate the most? Now, look, I almost asked this question to give my answer, right? It's easy to say UVA. I hate Carolina. Like I hate Carolina.
Really?
Cannot stand Carolina.
Okay, cool. Now thank you, because it's different from me because I'm not from Virginia, so it's like, okay, cool. I guess since Tech hate Virginia, UVA, I hate UVA too. But it's when we play NC State or Chapel Hill, it's like to me, it's like, oh, well, you turn my back on me. Well, you turn your back on me. Like, why didn't you go to Chapel Hill or NC State? I always hear that from people. And I'm like, man, no, I just didn't like them.
This is kind of where I lose most people on this. It's also so hard to work up the same hatred. And look, UVA and North Carolina, neither have been really nationally relevant after like October's over. Every single year. UVA is irrelevant when the season starts. North Carolina gets a lot of hype and then falls off. But it's kind of hard to build up a hate when you're not from the state and they haven't really brought a lot to the rivalry. Like, I almost wish that UVA would win more games before they played us so that game...
It'd be more hype. It'd be better, way better.
It would always mean a lot.
Yeah.
But I look back at the games when, like, Chris Long was at UVA and they were going against Tyrod, or it was winning into the ACC championship. I think that having in-state rival that's pushing you and that's keeping you going is extremely important. So I'm surprised to hear you on the North. I guess I'm not surprised, but I'm glad that you said it, that North Carolina cracks that list for you.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever consider going to either one? If you were to go to a Carolina school, where would you have gone?
Oh, I'm not even going to answer that question.
He wasn't even going. He wasn't even going to Carolina.
I wasn't going.
Okay. Whenever football is over, what do you want to do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur. My business is focused on security.
Okay.
So basically, it's going to be the alternative for Ring doorbell.
Okay. I don't want you to give away your secret sauce because I know you're holding it close to the vest. Can you give us like a little bit of your idea here?
A little bit. Let's just say you get a package, right? Whatever. Mm-hmm. This is gonna be real small, but yeah, you'll get notified in a way. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, keep the rest to yourself.
It's an alternative for Ring. So
okay.
That's it.
Keep the rest to yourself. Are you working with Donna, or you have some people that you're working on?
Oh yes, Donna. Okay. I have my own senior design class at Virginia Tech. So I have the best engineers that's working on it as well, and then it should be ready towards the end of February.
Yeah, man.
In March.
Let's go. Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just doing multiple things, and I want to leave something to my son.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, I will be getting one, and if you need to advertise it, if you need to advertise it or market it, you let us know. We'll be doing ad reads for Tisdale security, top flight Tisdale
I
security
appreciate that.
on the doorstep.
I appreciate that.
Who is a young guy that no one is talking about right now that's going to be a stud?
Oh man, that's a sleeper to me.
Yes.
You got Mose Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Mose Phillips. That boy can hit.
Mm-hmm.
He almost knocked me out in the Tulane game where he caused that fumble. He knocked the hell out of me. But this guy ain't young, but I put so much attention on the linebackers. But Jaden Keller and McDonald. I know Kel, he's making his name, but them boys right there, you talking about athletic, fast, big, can move. Oh man. I just can't wait to see him some more.
Most fun post-game locker room celebration.
I say after we won the military bowl, because
This military bowl sounds epic.
Yeah, because everybody was trying to take the trophy, and
Mhm.
we almost got into it with the running backs because we're like, nah, man, we're gonna take the picture with it first. But it was just it's all love. It's all love.
Uh-huh. I want to ask you, are there any, I don't want to limit this to Coach Pry. So I always ask players for like coachisms, coach speak. When you close your eyes and you think of some of your coaches, what are some of like the funniest quotes or the funniest like sayings that they have that they just say all the time?
Do it have to be Coach Pry?
No, it could be any coach.
But because Coach Pry coached under Coach Foster.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I see Coach Pry, I see Coach Foster. Like I was coached by both.
Right.
Like at one point in time, like Coach Foster was my position coach. But like both of them would say like something simple, like it's not about them, it's about us. That turned me up right before the game. Something simple like that. Yeah, it turned me up.
I got to ask, what was the transition like? Did you notice a big difference where Coach Pry handed off? And I'm not just talking specifically about the Liberty game, but what was the handoff of Coach Pry handing over the defensive coordinator calling capabilities and kind of that role over to Coach Marv?
Man, I love it because like like certain calls, like I love like the interior blitzes, and Coach Marv know that. And like he know his guys, so it's kind of like we got the advantage for the linebackers. Like,
yeah,
Coach, can you call this play? Whatever. He's like, yeah, okay, I got you. But you better make the play though. But nah, like Coach Marv, yeah, I felt like we had the advantage for the linebackers, but he was real aggressive though, real aggressive defensive coordinator. I love it.
Last one I have for you. Who were some of the upperclassmen over your tenure that you're still in contact with or that had a real impact on you when you were a younger player?
Oh, that's a good one. Older guy. I mean, I still communicate with him. That's family right there. Diablo, Blow. He was a great guy. Great guy. Ricky Walker, Hewitt, and I'll say one person that I try to be like this season, but we was in the same class, Dax. Like I felt like I owed it to him. Like he put so much into the program and things like that. So I just try to be like him, try to lead the team because I wasn't a verbal guy. I couldn't see myself playing the Mike linebacker, but like this upcoming season, I'm like, man, it'd be nice to just lead the defense, take control. I felt like I could do that, so I did it.
It's really interesting to see too that you two have taken a different route post football. Whenever you do decide to go live with this thing, and he's, I never took Dax Hollifield as a guy knocking on doors, trying to sell printers. No disrespect to anybody that does that, but I knew that guy was going to be doing something with his hands, and he's out there doing it. So. Last question, Alan. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Not just tonight, but over your tenure at Virginia Tech, you did it the right way. But as you reflect on your career in Blacksburg, do you have any message for Hokie Nation? How do you wish to be remembered? How do you feel like you're going to be remembered? And how will you remember and continue your relationship with Virginia Tech?
I mean, I always love the Hokie Nation. Like when people say goodbye, there's no goodbye. It's more like I'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy where we stopped off at, in 2023 with, a championship at the bowl game. And like I said, like my whole time and me coming back, it was me putting the team first and want to put the team in a better position than we did in 2022. So I always love the fans for, backing me up, supporting me, not just me, but, the whole team, the coaches, never giving up on us.
Alan Tisdale, not big on social media, but for those of you looking to connect, maybe find him on LinkedIn, maybe find him on
LinkedIn, on
Doors.
Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Alan, wishing you nothing but the best in the future, my man. We'll do this again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.